अस्त्युत्तरस्यां दिशि देवतात्मा हिमालयो नाम नगाधिराजः पूर्वापरौ तोयनिधीव गाह्य स्थितः पृथिव्या इव मानदण्डः तथा समक्षं दहता मनोभवं पिनाकिना भग्नमनोरथा सति हृदय निनिन्दरूपं हृदयेन पार्वती प्रियेषु सौभाग्यफला हि चारुता. So at the start of this fifth sarga, he gets back to the earlier story where it ended with Manmatha coming in and Manmatha getting destroyed. Then we had an interlude of Karunarasam in the fourth sarga where it was filled with Rati's Vilapa. Now he gets back to the story as to what happened to Parvati when she was taken back to her palace. She decided that her beauty is not going to be useful to attain Parameshwara. So Nininda Rupam Hridayena. She thought that this is not something to attain Parameshwara. So she had to think of something else. And she decided that tapas is the only way to go about. So the second shloka is Yeshasa Kartum Avandhya Rupatam Samadhimasthaya Tapobhiratmanaha Avapyate tat katham anyatha dvayam tatha vidam prema patischa tadrishaha. Sa samadhim asthaya tapobhihi samadhim asthaya atmanaha avandhya kamatam yesha. She wanted her beauty also to have some sort of a success in it. She has a very beautiful form. It has been described in the first sarga completely by Kālidāsa. Yes. And now she realized that with this form she cannot do anything. But at the same time, the idea of giving such a form itself is to be appreciated by your spouse, right? So for that, she says this avandhya kamatam atmanaha avandhya rupatam ityasti. Adhaan naam padiche enak palakkam. So we'll take the rupatam here. Probably he will have a different vyakhyanam for this. So in order to make her form very successful, or think that it should be தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா இப்படி ஒரு சரீரத்தை கொடுத்ததுக்கு அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு உபயோகம் இருக்கணும் இல்லையோ, அதை வந்து சக்சஸ்ஃபுல்லா ஆக்கிறதுக்காக. அதுதான். So tapobihi samadhim asthaya, having decided that it is only because of tapas that she can attain அது சக்சஸ்ஃபுல்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. அது இட்ஸ் a kind of that it is not a failure. She can ஒரு மனசை தேத்திக்கலாம்ல அந்த இடத்துல, அதுக்காக. So she decided that it is only tapas which will be the best form for her to attain Parameshwara. Avapyate tat katham anyatha dvayam. There are two things that she wants. One is patihi and prema. The love that she can also get from Parameshwara, and Parameshwara is that sort of a pati who is a maha yogi also, so she has to think of other methods to get him. Katham anyatha tat dvayam avapyate tathavidam prema tadrishaha patihi cha anyatha, by other means how can she attain these two other than tapas? We'll go over the vyakhyanam, it will be more easier because I'm getting confused with this avandhya kamatam. Na adu paakave illa. Itham purva prastutam prayojya upavartana vidhehe vaiphalyam anusandhaya tat prasangena alaukikayoho nayakayoho alaukikam anyadeva prayojyasya upavartanam avatarayati. So prayojyasya upavartanam is, see, prayojyam is something that she has to attain, that which has to be used in grow. Yeah? So prayojyam is that which has to be which has to have a use for it. So upavartanam here is returning back to that. So attaining Shiva was not successful when she tried it with her form or doing seva, etc. Her idea was not to attract him with her form, but she wanted to only serve Parameshwara. But Manmatha came in there, and I'm sure Parvati would have a little bit of idea in her mind that she is also the most beautiful person. But then that was not possible here. That proved to be a failure here. So upavartanam is trying again. Upavartanam is returning back to your goal. So prayojyasya upavartanam ityukte, the whatever is the method that she wants to do, she is trying it in a different manner now by going back. What is that? That satu prakriya adhuna varnyate. So itham purva prastutam prayojya upavartana vidhehe vaiphalyam anusandhaya. The upavartanam is usually approaching a lover, is called upavartanam. And the method that was used for approaching Shiva was vaiphalyam. It did not have any success before. Purva prastutam, that which was used before. Okay. So tat prasangena alaukikayoho nayakayoho alaukikam anyadeva prayojyasya upavartanam. When the nayika and the nayaka are alaukika, they are divine, then the method of approaching the lover should also be in a very divine manner. It should not be very commonplace like what goes on between two humans, right? So that's why he says prayojyasya upavartanam avatarayati. This now becomes a different kind of, or a divine approach that Parvati has to use. So samadhim bhagnasya manorathasya punasamadhanam asthaya. Samadhim asthaya here is not the samadhi, but a resolution. So she decided that her manoratham, her desire was to attain Shiva, and she brought back that desire into her mind. Punaha samadhim astaya avalambya. She again upavartanam subsequent time illa first time is also purva prastutam upavartanam ityeva uktam. Upavartanam is a methodology that you adopt to go abhisaranam iti nasti, but in a way it is to approach your the person you desire. That is called upavartanam. Asthaya avalambya tapobihi tesham ati durape api sadhanatvat. So tapobihi tesham tapasam durape api sadhanatvat. Tesham ati durape na ennathuk solrar? ஒரு நிமிஷம். Tesham iti manorathanam durape api. Even though the desire is very difficult to attain, still tapas becomes the only sadhanam to attain anything that is difficult to attain. So he quotes from Manu here and says, Yat dushkaram, yat durapam, yat durgam, yatcha dustaram, tat sarvam tapasa prapyam tapohi duratikramam. Whatever is difficult to do, to perform, dushkaram, durapam, that which is difficult to attain, durgam, that which is difficult to reach, dustaram, that which is difficult to cross. All of these things, tat sarvam tapasa prapyam. You can attain all of these things with penance. Tapas. Tapohi duratikramam. It is difficult to cross tapas. That is, if there is a tapasvi, then it is very difficult to face that tapasvi, or even duratikramamna அதை தாண்டி நம்மளால ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. Everybody has to becomes a slave to the tapas in the other person.
One more time, Modi.
Yeah.
Samadhim bhagnasya nama kasya
samadhim ityukte bhagnasya manorathasya punasamadhanam ityartha.
Oh, that's equal to oh my God. Oh, samadhim. Oh, bhagnasya samadhanam. Samadhanam na punasthapanam idyva.
Punasthapanam ityeva. Punaha tatra yaha manoratha purvam bhagnaha asit tattu idanim manasi sthapyate ityeva.
Oh, so the word samadhi here is being used in a completely different way than the usual thing that people know, like in yoga.
Just taking அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம், அவ்வளவுதான்.
Okay.
तथाविदं शरीरार्धप्रदं तादृशः अनन्य. why am I looking at Prakashika? Sorry, நான் இத பார்க்கிறதுக்கு அத பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தேன். That is the smaller Vyakhyana, right? Yeah. Okay. So atha lokottirnayoho nayakayoho tathavidameva prayojya that's the same thing. So sa samadhim astaya tapobihi atmanaha avandhya kamatam kartum iyesha ya bhagna manoratha sa parvati samadhim bhagna manoratha pratisandhanam. So it makes more sense to say bhagnasya manorathasya punasamadhanam. இன்னும் விவரிச்சிருக்காரு அதுல. Parvati, whose desire was completely thwarted, right? So immediately she decided to take back her desire in the mind and with a resolve, with a fresh resolve. So Bhagna Manorathanam Pravritti Anupapattehe Itham Uktam. So Bhagna Manorathaha Yadi Bhagnaha Vartate Tatra Tasya Manorathasya Pravrittihi na Bhavet. It is difficult for us to, unless you have a fresh resolve. If your desire is broken, then that's it. You cannot pursue with that. When your desire is broken, you are completely depressed and you are unable to proceed further. Pravritti anupapattehe. It is difficult for anybody to get into any other action here. Pravritti. So it is not possible. So you will have to renew your manoratha in the mind, take another fresh idea in the mind, and then only you can act accordingly. If you are trying to do the same thing again and again, it will be difficult to proceed in the same manner. So bhagna manorathanam pravritti anupapattehe. It is not possible to act upon the same desire which was already broken, and in the same way you will have to use a different support. That is why he says punaha samadhim asthaya. So tapobihi atmanaha avandhyakamatam kartum iyesha. She wanted to make herself, her atmanaha, herself, as successful, as not a failure, with tapas, through tapas. Tapobihi iti bahuvachanena vakshyamānānam bahuvidhānam tapasam upadanam atra. She is going to follow through with many different tapas. So manoratha prapti paryantaihi tapobhihi iti bahuvachan. Not just one tapas, but she will go for different kinds of tapas. Vratam, Chandrayanadi vratam, Panchagni tapas. If during each and every season she does a different kind of tapas, she also goes through upavasadi. So there are many kinds of vratams that she adopts and does. Hence manoratha prapti paryantaihi, until she attains her desire. Atyanta durape arte tapasameva sadhanatvam uktam. This is the shloka that we saw right now. Atra atma shabdasya artha prakaranabhyam siddhatve api atmanaha nityatvat tapobhihi shariram parityajya janmantareshvapi swam स्वमनीषितं, sorry, जन्मान्तरेष्वपि स्वमनीषितं साधयिष्यामि एव इति स्थिरनिश्चयत्वं प्रतिपादयितुम् उपादानम्. Usually atma shabdasya artha prakaranabhyam. What is the meaning of atma? We take it as the eternal soul, usually, right? Eternal self. So atma shabdasya artha prakaranabhyam, but you also consider the context in which it is being used. And when you say putro mama atma iti chet, he is like an extension of myself. I like him so much that he is an extension of myself, and I say atma vai putraha iti. There are places in other places where he says atma. It can be the manas, it can be the deham, it can be anything depending on the prakaranam, the context. Even though atma shabdasya here in this context it is being fixed as her body, still atmanaha nityatvat, because the atma, the self, nitya vastu is parabrahmam or jivatma. That sort of an atma is nityam. Tapobihi shariram parityajya. The atma will probably let go of this shariram, and it can happen even in other janmas, right? Janmantareshvapi swamanishitam sadhayishyami eva iti tasyaha nischayam. So the word atma seems to indicate that if she does tapas in this janma and she is not able to attain Shiva, because of that tapas, she will let go of her shariram parityajya. Janmantareshvapi, in the following janma also, she will get back into the same tapas format and try to attain Shiva there. So swamanishitam sadhayishyami, I will definitely attain whatever I desire. Iti sthira nischayatvam pratipadayitum upadanam. So the word atma is being used to show her extreme resolve in attaining her wish here.
all this stuff about in the next janma also, the intensity of her resolve, isn't this Dwani?
Ama.
Okay, so this is like Vastu Dwani.
This is a ama or you can take it as an artha vyanjakatvam. Atma is the vyanjaka shabdaha which is giving you that sthira nischayatvam as a vastudvani.
Okay.
Yathoktam bhagavate vratakrishan shatajanmabhihi syat. Oh. Vratena krishan shatajanmabhihi api syat. Moksha. So moksha can occur for people who are even after hundreds of janmas. Let me take that 10, 52, 43. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Yasyangri Panka. This is a beautiful shloka. Here we go. I'll just share this shloka. Yasyangri Pankaja Rachas Snapanam Mahanto Vanchanti Umapatiriva Atmatamo Apahatyai Yerhi Ambujaksha Na Labheya Bhavat Prasadam Jahyam Asun Vrata Krishan Shata Janmabihi Syat. Yasya Angri Pankaja. Yasya Angri Pankaja. This is actually describing Vishnu here. So Asun Vrata Krishana Shata Janmabihi Syat. Even if it takes hundreds of janmas, I will let go of this pranan. If I have to attain your bhavat prasadam yadi labheya, na labheya. If I don't attain your prasada, if I don't attain your grace, then I'm willing to let go of my pranan for even 100 janmas and then attain yours. So yasya.
So nalabheya is nalabheya, aham nalabheya iti. Uttam Purusha. Aham bhavat prasadam labheya chet. Chet kim?
Yarhi ityasti. Yarhi if
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Tarhi jahyam.
Kutra asti jahyam?
Na, atra.
Jahyam. Jahyam. Okay. Jahyam. Okay.
Yasya iti Vishnoho angri pankaja rajas snapanam mahantaha api vanchanti. Even great people want to be at the feet of Lord Vishnu. Umapatihi iva Atma tamo apahatyai. Just like Shiva. Shiva also is always constantly thinking about the lotus feet of Vishnu. Just as how Vishnu is also thinking about the feet of Parameshwara. This is mutual. You will see this in many occasions in Puranas. So Umapati tamo atma tamo apahatyai, in order to remove the ignorance of the manas. Right? So he ambujaksha yadi yarhi bhavat prasadam na labheya tarhi jahyam asun vrata krishan vratena krishan. My pranan which has become very thin or very small because feeble, because of the vratam, because of the different penances that I have followed. Shata janmabhihi api syat. Let it happen even after hundreds of janma. Okay, adnale penna yathoktam bhagavate. Because that sthira nischayatvam tu tatra bhagavate api uktam iti. Atmanaha avandhya kamatam. So avandhyaha sapalaha kamaha abhilashaha yasyaha tattam yesha ichham kritavati. She wished for a sapalatvam of her kama, of her desire. So avandhya.
Now the author of this Vyakyanam is Narayana Pandita, right?
Yes.
And he is the one who wrote the Narayaniyam on the Bhagavatam.
Illa. Adu Bhattatri. Narayana Bhattatri.
Okay, so but has he studied? He's also famous for Bhagavatam for some reason? No,
I don't think so. Narayana Pandita எனக்கு வேற எதுலயாவது எழுதிருக்காரா தெரியல.
Okay, because I was thinking Bhagavatam quote பண்றாருன்னா he's done some commentary on Bhagavatam. No.
See, this is very easy for people to just pick up and write also. And in those times there was no TV or mobile or Instagram, please. So they were all probably just whiling away their time by reading all these books. So they had the source there.
He had all those in his head basically.
Had a big bookshelf
in his head, probably.
In his head too, yes. So ishu ichhayam. So iesha sa ichham akarot. Iesha. Yeah. Iesha iduvo. Litta. Iesha tuhu.
I think this Avandhyah did so Avandhyah Saphalah Kamah Abhilashah Yasyaha iti. So it's a Bahuvrihi Avandhyah.
Yeah. So Avandhya itself is na Vandhyaha Avandhyaha. Yeah. So Avandhyaha Kamaha, Avandhyascha Kamaha cha Yasyaha. So it becomes a Bahuvrihi there.
So that will be Avandhya Kama or the instance.
Kama. Tasyaha Bhavaha.
Oh. Avandhya Kamatam.
She wished for Avandhya Kamatam. She wished for a saphala, successful desire.
Of her Atman.
Of herself.
Herself. Okay. And then for Avandhya, the jump from Avandhya to Saphalaha is, I was trying to find out how do you go from the
Vandhyangardu barren illaya?
Yes, that is true. And anga dhatu annu purila enakku.
Dhatu enakku theriyadu.
Straight up purila. Like, it's not clear. How does it mean?
Vandhyangardu is always used as failure.
Failure, fruitless.
Enakku theriyala.
Yeah,
yeah. Unadi edavadhu irukum theriyadu. Adla you can't find etymological derivation and dhatu in unadi. It can be a little tough.
It is a bit tough. Yeah. Astu.
लौकिकस्य प्रयोज्य उपावर्तनविधेः तादृशफलजनकत्व अभावात् अयं प्रयोज्य उपावर्तनविधिः एव तस्याः युक्ततरः इत्याह अन्यथा तद्वयं कथम् अवाप्यते. This प्रयोज्य उपावर्तनविधि is something that we want to attain and we are working towards that. அதுதான் இந்த பிரயோஜ்ய உபாவர்த்தன விதிங்கிறது. So laukikam, if it is something with respect to of the world, then the tadrisha phalajanakatva abhavat, it is difficult to attain Parameshwara as a pati or attain the prema. Yasya ardha shariram prapyate iti naradena tatra prasadakritah, right? When Narada came and saw, he said she was going to attain half of the shariram of Parameshwara. So that sort of a prema and that sort of a pati, it is not within the range of laukikam vyavahara. It has to be beyond the laukika vyavahara. It should be something divine. Hence, ayam prayojya upavartana vidhi eva tasyaha yuktataraha. What is this vidhi? What is this niyama? This process of attaining him is more to do with the tapas and it is alaukikam or divine. Anyatha, otherwise, tadvayam katham avapyate. How is she going to be able to attain those two? What are those two? Which is tathavidam prema tadrishaha patihi cha. Okay. Anyatha, laukika upavartana matrena. If we use only laukika methods, tadvakshimanam dvayam, the two things that I'm going to talk about, katham avapyate labhyate na kathanchite. It is not possible to attain those two. What are those two things? Tathavidam prema. Premna sharirardha haram iti Narada vachanat swa sharira ardha pradam. Narada said in the first Sarga itself, Premna, because of her love towards him, because of the affection, she is going to give half of his shariram to her. So sharira ardha hara sa, sharirardham harati Parvati. So sharirardha haram. Sharirardha pradam tam iti tadrisham prema. So the prema, the sneha, which is going to grant her half of Parameshwara's shariram, as in Ardhanarishwara. Premana priyata hardam prema sneha iti simha. This is another kosha that he says for prema. It can be prema, premanau iti nakaranta shabdopi bhaviti. Tadrishaha ananyabhajam patimapnuhi iti premna sharirardha haram. That is the first part of the shloka here. Ananyabhajam patim apnuhi. You will attain a husband who will not desire anybody else. Anyabhak na bhavati yaha tadrisham patim tvam avapnuhi. Anyabhak ityukte anyam na bhajati. One who does not even entertain the thought of another woman. So he will be totally devoted to you. Tadrashaha patihi iti chet Bhagavad Vachanat Ananya Nari Ratihi. Oh, this is Shiva himself tells her in the third Sarga here. Ananya Bhajam Patimapnuhi itin. So Narada Bhagavad Vachanayoho Kadachidapi Anyatha Bhava Anupapattehe. It is not possible for both Narada's words and Parameshwara's words to be rendered false. Anyatha. Anyatha Bhava Anupapattehe. It cannot become false. So it has to become true, but that is not possible with laukika sadhanam. You need a divya sadhanam. Laukikasya upavartana videhe tat sadhanatva abhavat. We have seen that it is not possible to attain something if you are doing things which is of this world. So devyaha tapascharana abhilashaha eva yuktataraha. So it is indeed more appropriate for Parvati to have a desire to do tapas and attain pati and his prema. Anena shlokena utsahatmakasya virasya vakshyamaanasya upakshepaha kritaha. Utsahatmakam. The utsaha is more like a sthayi bhava for viram. Even tapas, viram is a kind of, tapas is a kind of Veera Rasa. It reflects Veera Rasa. It depends on the description. It could also be Shantarasam. But if you take Natya Shastra's view of Ashtau Rasaha and Shantarasa is not there, then this will fall under Veera Rasa. There is Dana Veeram, Tapo Veeram, many kinds of Veera. It's just a showing of resolve. Utsaha is more like an excitement that you show towards something that you have decided. Determination. Yeah.
One second, Mahodaya. One second. You go back to the end. Okay. So when you say Tatavidam Premna Swasharirardha Pradam, so Tatavidam Kim Tatavidam Prema Apnuhi iti Uktam Taihi.
No. So Premna Sharirardha Haramna Munnadi Shlokam. Adu vandu it goes to something else. Okay. Adu vandu it is just a quotation.
Okay.
அதனால தான் அதை வந்து அப்படி தனியா போட்டிருக்கார். பிரேம்னா ஷரீரார்த்த ஹராம் ஹரஸ்ய பவித்ரீம் அப்படின்னு வரும் அந்த இடத்துல.
So you will be the one abdina. There is this thing. Then he's saying here that tadrishah ananyabhajam patim apnuhi iti bhagavad vachanat ananya nari ratihi. Nama, that what does this ananya nari ratihi refer to?
Anya nari vishaye ratihi yasya na vidyate ananya nari ratihi.
Iti Shivasya Visheshanam.
I think it's more like just a rati. Ananya or anya naryam ratihi, anya nari ratihi na அப்படியே எடுத்துன்றணும். ஏன்னா it is only a negation of இதுதான். சிவனுக்கு அட்ஜெக்டிவாவும் எடுத்துக்கலாமே, எடுத்துக்கூடாது.
பஹுவ்ரீஹியா இல்லனா is it describing the prema? Is it
இல்லையே, அப்ப பிரேமானா he wouldn't have to describe it for the pati. பிரேமாவை பத்தி முன்னாடி சொல்லியாச்சு. அது Narada's words about the prema.
So
this one you will take it as tadrishaha ananya nari ratihi patihi iti bahuvrihi.
Okay, that was okay. Ananya nari ratihi patihi or patim ananya nari ratim patim apnuhi. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And both of them have given this ashirvada, so it has to come true. Adukku she needs to do tapas. Yeah. So yesha sa kartum avandhya kamatam samadhimastthaya tapobhiratmanah avapyate tat katham anyatha dvayam tathavidam prema patischa tadrishaha.
So tapohi duratikramah nama ishwarah api tatra tapasah vashe eva bhavati iti.
Correct.
Okay.
So he has to come there. அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஆயிடும். நிஷம்ய சைனாம் தபசே கிருதோத்யமாம் சுதாம் கிரீஷம் பிரதி சக்தமானசாம் உவாச்சமேனா பரிரப்ய வக்ஷசா நிவாரயந்தி மகதோ முனிவ்ரதாத். Usually it's the mother who wants to, keep the baby at home. Yeah. So she doesn't want her to go and do a kritsra tapas. She'll say, அடுத்த ஸ்லோகம் இன்னும் கியூட்டா இருக்கும். We have devatas in our backyard. Why do you want to go outside and do tapas? அப்படின்பா. So nishamya enam tapase kritodyamam sutam girisham prati saktamanasam nishamya. Having heard that Parvati, Suta, her daughter, enam iti purvokta, one who had made such a resolve. So girisham prati Saktamanasam, whose mind is totally attached towards Parameshwara. Tapase Krita Udyamam, who is also Udyama, her effort is towards tapas. She had decided to perform tapas. Iti Shrutva Nishamya, having heard about this resolve of her daughter, Mena Vakshasa Parirabhya, she embraced her with her body in a chest. So அதாவது நன்னா ஆலிங்கனம் பண்ணிங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, கட்டி தழுவி அப்படிங்கிறோம். So hugged her really well and mahataha munivrataat nivarayanti. This is an adjective to Mena here. Stopping her, nivarayanti, stopping her from this a great munivrata, a penance that needs to be followed by only sages, not a young girl, right? So she wanted to stop her and she spoke. Mena spoke to her daughter here. Simple than the shlokam. What she spoke ngaradu pinadi it comes in 3 shlokas. Nanu na ichhamatram phalaparyantasya tapasaha hetuhu. Apicha apitu sthira vyavasayatvam api iti udatta gunabhutam कार्यसाधन क्षमं च देव्याः स्थिर व्यवसायत्वं वर्णयितुम् उपक्रमते. The avatarika, the Vyakhata gives here is not about, okay, Mena started talking to her daughter. No, Mena saw the resolve that is there, and in order to describe the kind of resolve that Devi has, he starts by saying Ichhamatram. See, it is a very tough path that she has decided to take. She is like a soft flower, and it cannot even hold a bee there. Apo, you're thinking of putting this body through tapas, which is going to torture you so much. So, ichha matram phalaparyantasya tapasaha hetuhu nasti. Just mere desire is not enough to attain the fruit of tapas. You'll have to go through a very difficult journey. When you have to do tapas, it involves a lot of strenuous activities. So ichha matrena tatra tapaha sadhyam iti nasti. Apitu sthira vyavasayatvam, you will have to have a very firm effort that you have to do. Iti udatta gunabhutam karyasadhana kshamam sthira vyavasayatvam devyaha asti eva. So not only ichha, but you also need a firm action. You'll have to work towards that, right? Sthira vyavasayaha ityukte yatnaha, effort or action, vyavaharaha. So that is also needed. Iti, to show this, and that Devi was not just merely thinking about it. Kevalam ichha shaktihi nasti tatra. She also had that kriya shakti in her. And that kriya shakti, in order to describe that kriya shakti, he starts off with this prelude to it. So Mena enam sutam tapase kritodyamam girisham prati saktamanasam cha nishamya vakshasa parirabhya mahataha munibratat nivarayanti uvacha. So this is the anvaya for the shloka. Tapase kritodyamam, tapas charitum, tapase for tapas. This is in chaturthi here. Kritaha udyamaha yaya tam, one who had made an effort for tapas ityukte, to perform tapas. So atra hetum aha, why did she resolve, why did she make that determination to do tapas? Girisham prati saktamanasam, saktam manasam yasyaha, girisha asakta chittam, her mind had completely attached itself to Parameshwara. Purvam sutayaha tapascharana udyamaha shrutaha punascha tadhetu jignasayam girisha asakta chittatvam shrutam iti kramaha api atra vivakshitaha. She first heard, See, in the shloka, if you see, she says, Mena nishamya chainam tapase kritodyamam is the first step. And then she heard, why does she have to take such a resolve? Iti punaha prashne eva, she realized that she was attached to Parameshwara. So the kramam is also very important here. So, all they knew was, they had sent their daughter to serve Parameshwara, who was doing tapas since Thanuvanam nearby. That's all she knows. She was in the palace every day in the morning, just as how, you go and serve a yati who has come here or something. That's what she was thinking. She did not know about the resolve that was there in Parvati's mind. Yeah.
So one more time, okay. So in the krama that you're talking about, Nishamya is also having heard. So having heard that her daughter was engaged in penance, what is the next krama that you're mentioning? And how do you...
Not engaged. She decided to engage herself in penance is the first step. The next only she heard Girisham Prati Saktamanasam. What is the hetu for it?
Katam tatra kramaha avagamyate?
So Purvam Sutayaha Tapascharana Udyamaha Shrutaha.
Okay.
First she heard about the effort that she wants to take. Yes. Okay. To do. Punascha, again, Tat Hetu Jignasayam. She probably wanted to know what is the reason for Parvati to undertake such a great resolve. Yeah. Appo Sakhinam tu Mukhat eva tatra shrutam prayaha. We have to understand that. Because in the shloka, he gives tapase udyama, krita udyama first, and then gives this adjective. The Vyakhyata gives it in this format.
Okay, can we look at the shloka? Like,
just Nishamya chainam tapase kritodyamam Sutam Girisham Prati Saktamanasam.
Oh, so first the Kavi has said Kritodyama, therefore the even suggested is that okay, first she heard this, then the Vyakyakara is saying that okay, there's a second krama that okay, when she heard that first, then she inquired why, and then she learned about the second.
About this.
This is the Vyakyakara's interpretation of events. Okay.
Totally.
He's reading.
See how you read into it, Dane.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's more light up day, but you can't do that. Like understand the Thanks.
So punascha tad hetu jignasayam. When she wanted to know the hetu for her resolve, Girisha asakta chittatvam shrutam. Iti kramaha api vivakshitaha atra. So Kālidāsa wants to give us that order of events that happened also. Nishamya Sakhi Mukhat iti seshaha. So she probably heard it from her Sakhi. She won't go and say that, I love this guy, I want to get married and Solomatale. So it's a different setup there. Vakshasa Parirabhya Urasa Gadham Alingya. Having embraced her, Idamcha Gadha Alinganam Sharira Kleshakara Tapascharana Udyama Shravana Janitasya Shokasya. As soon as Mena heard that she is going to perform tapas, she wants to perform tapas, which is Sharira Kleshakaram. It actually gives a lot of trouble to the body here. So because of that shoka, she is even more, when you know that your child is going to suffer, because of that grief in the mind, you will again, tightly hug. Adinala shokasya. Girisha asakta chittatva shravana janitasya anurupa abhiniveshini dishtya me vatsa iti modasya cha anubhavahangra. Gadha alinganam tu tatra bhavadvayam vyajyate, right? Gadha alinganena. You can hug tightly because of grief or because of happiness. Here she says Mena has both in her mind. If you go through Shiva Puranam, it's a totally different picture. Mena, at every point, she will say, I don't like Shiva. At every point, even during marriage, even after everything has been settled, right before, he enters into the marriage hall, in the Shiva Puranam, there is one huge thing about how Mena just breaks down and cries, and she says, how can I give my daughter to this person? But see how the Purana story has been totally transformed by Kālidāsa and the Vyakhyata also. That is their creativity here to give us a more beautiful package here.
Amazing. Now, especially the mixture that you're talking about of both shoka for the upcoming tapas and the difficulties to be experienced by the daughter, and happiness for the again future
அனுரூப அபினிவேஷினி, அதாவது something that is appropriate for her அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறாளாம்.
Anurupa
அபினிவேஷः இत्युक्ते
Abhiniveshini.
இச்சா. So
Oh.
Girisha asakta chittattva shravana janitasya, the modasya, the happiness that arose by hearing that her mind is fixed upon Shiva.
Oh. Anurupa Abhiniveshini Putri iti.
So Anurupa Abhiniveshini Dishtya, luckily my daughter May Vatsa, she has Abhinivesha, she has an ichha towards someone who is appropriate to her. Anurupa.
So therefore it's a mixture of grief
Vishada and harsha.
And that's why she's embracing. That's, I mean, the interpretation is amazing.
ஒரு superior-ஆ இருக்கு. 4 sargas விட இந்த 5th sargaல இன்னும் ஒரு level high-ஆ இருக்கு.
I mean, you can't get this by Malinatha's Vyakhyana. Yeah.
This Vyakhyana is like reading another Gadyam text. அந்த மாதிரி, you know. So Atyanta Duscharat Vishada Harshayoho Anuguna Nishedham Ah. See, Vishada Harshayoho, both Vishada, she also has shoka, grief, and she also is happy. So the way she stops her should also be reflective of both bhavas. So Mahate Munivratat Nivarayanti. This is a Munivratam. She accepts that it is a very difficult thing, and this is a vratam that is usually followed only by sages. Atyanta Duscharat Muninam Vratat Tapasaha Pratishedham Kurvati. She also stops her from undertaking such a great penance. Yeah. Sutayaha Gamyamanaya Charanakriyaya Tapascharana Kriya Atra. So Gamyamanaya Tapascharana Kriyaya Munivratam Ipsitam iti Munivrata Shabdat Varanarthanam Ipsitaha iti Panchami. Okay. Usually when you want to stop, avoid something from someone, adavadhu Kshetrebhyaha Gauhu Varayati. When you want to stop the cow from the fields to graze from the field, so you say from the fields. He is stopping it from. So the fields take on Panchami here. The same way here, Munivratat ityasti in the last line. So Nivarayanti iti. Atra kaischit Munivratasya menayaha anipsitatvat apadanatva anupapattihi ashankita. Tan mandam bhashyadau kartuhu iti anuvrittehe apradarshitattvat. So see, there is no anipsa. The person who is being I think Varanarthanam ipsitaha ityukte, one who wishes to attain something, and there is another person who is stopping that person, which means that is ipsitam. So it doesn't talk about whether the karta, nivarana karta, wants this or does not want it. It's a grammar point that he's trying to say.
So tan mandam bhashyadau kartuhu iti anuvrittehe
apradarshitattvat. So the karta has not been shown as an anuvritti in that sutram.
In the Varanarthanam ipsitaha. Okay. Kaha varayati iti kartuhu eva ipsitam va na va iti na uktam.
No, kartuhu ipsa tatra varane ipsa vartate va na va iti tatra kartuhu ichha vishaye vicharaha nastyeva iti. So we don't need to think about, see, Mena did not like her daughter to go and do Munivratam because Mena did not like Munivratam.
Not like that. Okay. So and you're saying that just like the mother is happy that the daughter has got a
lofty ideal,
and the mother is sad that she's going to go through some pains.
Yes.
So she's warning the daughter not to overdo it.
Yes. Yeah.
ரொம்ப பண்ணாத அப்படின்னு.
பாத்துமா அப்படிம்போ, அது அம்மாவுடைய இது தானே. எனி டைம் you it's a very ஒரு it's a thing that the mother always goes through ல
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more than the father அங்க மதரை காமிக்கிறது தான் இன்னும்
Mm,
அழகு.
mm.
ரம்ய சைனாம் தபசே கிருதோத்யமம் சுதாம் கிரீஷம் பிரதிசக்தமானசாம் உவாச்ச மேனா பரிரப்ய வக்ஷசா நிவாரயந்தி மகதோ முனிவ்ரதாத்.